Today, we'll learn more about the case of missing UNM student Tara Calico. The 19-year-old disappeared in 1988 after going on a bike ride in Valencia County. 10 years later, a judge declared Tara dead, calling it a presumed homicide. Then in 2021, there was a reported search warrant at a home related to the case, but the warrant was sealed. We'll let you know what happens on air and on your KOAT app.
On the morning of September 20th, 1988, Tara Leigh Calico, a 19-year-old college student from Belen, New Mexico, woke up like any other day. By 9:30 a.m., she was out the door, dressed in a white t-shirt with First National Bank of Belen printed on it, green shorts, wide ankle socks, and white Avia sneakers. She climbed onto her neon pink Huffy mountain bike, a Christmas gift, and pedaled toward New Mexico State Road 47, the long, dusty stretch of highway she often rode along to clear her mind. Tara wasn't naive about the risks of riding alone. Recently, she'd mentioned to her mother, Patty Dole, that she'd had an eerie feeling like someone had been watching her during her rides. It was enough of a concern that Patty suggested she carry mace, but Tara, independent as ever, brushed it off. Nothing's going to happen, she reassured her mother before heading out. Tara never came back. By noon, Tara still wasn't home. She had planned to meet her boyfriend that afternoon, and she was never late. Patty grew concerned and decided to drive the 17-mile stretch along Tara's usual bike route. She saw nothing. No sign of her daughter, no bike, nothing out of the ordinary. Panicked, she called Valencia County Sheriff's Department to report Tara missing. The search began immediately. Deputies and volunteers combed the highway, and soon they found disturbing clues.
This is a photo of her, what Tara Calico looked like 30 years ago as a teenager when she was a 19-year-old student at UNM. Now, for the first time, the FBI is releasing a photo of what they think Tara looks like now. Take a good look at the woman in this picture.
She was a very sweet girl. She liked to laugh and have fun. She liked to make things light. You know, she had a very lovely personality. She was just lovely to be around.
I think she had a bright future in front of her, and that's what's sad is, you know, she didn't get that.
Tara Calico was a pretty, athletic 19-year-old girl, a beloved sister and daughter. On September 20th, 1988, Tara went for a bike ride in Valencia County and never came home. This photograph was taken of her the day before she disappeared.
It's hard. It's sad. Very sad.
The FBI and the Valencia County Sheriff's Office has been looking for her ever since.
For days and weeks after her disappearance, investigators combed the area near her home in Belen, searching for clues. Over the years, there have been many.
Somebody had seen something that looked like suspicious, a truck following her. So automatically the FBI was called in because there was a possibility of foul play.
In recent years, huge rewards were offered for information about Tara's case. Cold case detectives from multiple agencies have even taken bulldozers and cadaver dogs out to areas where they believe Tara might have been buried.
They go out and check an area out and see if there's any kind of hit with the dog, and we have not had any results.
30 years later, she is not forgotten. Her case still generating national attention. In June, an article about Tara's disappearance was featured in People magazine.
Every little piece can make a difference.
Melinda Escabel was a friend and classmate of Tara's. She is now a filmmaker who produced a podcast about the case. She's also spent nearly a decade working on a documentary about it, too.
It has torn our community apart, really. There are a lot of people who know what happened. There's a lot of people who've come forward. There's a lot of people who are scared to come forward.
30 years later, family, friends, and law enforcement wait, wonder, and hope for a miracle that someone who knows what happened to Tara Calico will finally give them answers.
Tire marks on the shoulder of the road, as if a vehicle had swerved or suddenly stopped. Tara's cassette tape, found broken on the ground. A piece of her Walkman, further down the highway. It looked as if she had dropped or thrown these items deliberately, perhaps as a way to leave a trail, but there was no sign of her bike or her body. Witnesses came forward with troubling accounts. Multiple people recalled seeing Tara that morning, riding along the highway. Several claimed they saw a suspicious vehicle trailing her, a light-colored pickup truck, possibly with a camper shell. But that was it. The trail went cold. Months passed with no leads, no ransom note, no sightings. Tara had vanished, and her family feared the worst. Then, nearly a year later, on June 15, 1989, a disturbing discovery was made nearly 1,600 miles away in Port St. Joe, Florida. A Polaroid photograph was found in the parking lot of a convenience store. The image was horrifying. A young woman and a boy, both gagged with duct tape, lay bound in the back of what looked like a white van. The woman had long, dark hair, similar to Tara's. Beside her was a paperback book, My Sweet Audrina, by V.C. Andrews, one of Tara's favorite books. The photograph had been left behind by a man driving a white Toyota van. Witnesses said he had parked near the store, and when he drove off, the Polaroid was found on the ground where he had been. When police released the image to the public, Patty Dole was shaken to her core. She was certain it was Tara. Forensic experts analyzed the photograph, but the results were inconclusive. Some believed it was Tara, others weren't so sure.
After her disappearance, a photo of a little boy and a young woman who looked like Tara, both bound and duct taped, was found in the parking lot of a store in Florida.
We examined it and scientifically looked at it. We felt pretty confident saying that we don't think that's Tara Calico.
Even Scotland Yard examined it and leaned toward a match, but the FBI disagreed. The boy in the image also remained unidentified for years, though some speculated he could be Michael Henley, a child who had gone missing from New Mexico in 1988. However, his remains were found in 1990. Authorities followed numerous leads in Florida, but the mystery man and the van were never found. Over the years, the case took many twists and turns. In 2008, sheriff's investigators announced they had two primary suspects who were now deceased. It was alleged that Tara had been abducted by local men known to her, possibly after an accident or argument. Some reports suggested they hit her with a vehicle, panicked, and took her away to cover it up. A man later came forward claiming he had witnessed Tara's final moments, but without physical evidence, no arrests were made. Patty Dole, Tara's mother, spent years searching, hoping, fighting, until her death in 2006. She never got the answers she so desperately fought for. As of 2024, Tara Calico is still missing. Despite extensive media coverage, investigations, and theories, her fate remains one of the most disturbing and perplexing missing persons cases in American history. Some believe she was trafficked. Others think she was killed the day she vanished. But one thing is certain, Tara Calico didn't just disappear. Someone, somewhere, knows what happened to her.
Now, Escobel is working on a docuseries and has a podcast all about what she's dug up on the case.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Vanished, the Tara Calico investigation.
Escobel says the Valencia County Sheriff's Office gave her the chance to go through Tara's case files. She says she organized and digitized old files, worked with professional private investigators, and offered up her own findings to police. But after all these years, she isn't satisfied with how the case is being handled.
These are sources that I spent years developing and gaining trust with, and a lot of that was broken.
Lieutenant Joseph Rolland with the Valencia County Sheriff's Office was assigned to the case in 2016. He says he's in touch with Tara's sister Michelle regularly, and that outside help on the case has brought mixed results.
Does it help or does it hinder? And the answer is it does both, right? Any information is better than no information.
He says public trust in law enforcement was tarnished because of a local theory that the sheriff in 1988 was part of a cover-up. Online sleuths claim the son of Sheriff Lawrence Romero was involved in Tara's disappearance. Roland says he's working to clear up any misinformation.
I have no dog in the fight. Wherever the facts are going to lead, I'm going to go.
Sheriff Romero and his son have since passed away, and Roland says the theory was formally investigated but never proven. There is another theory that surfaced online. About a year after Tara went missing, this Polaroid was found in a Florida parking lot, appearing to show a young woman and a little boy tied up in a van. Many people at the time, including Tara's mother, believe that girl was Tara. Analysts have never been able to tell for sure who is in the photo, and Lieutenant Rowland says the photo itself may not even be real.
A lot of the little details that are in that photograph do not point to an abduction, but more of a gag photo.
One thing Rowland and Escobel agree on is that the perpetrators are still alive and likely local.
This case is solvable. Here we are 34 years later. I do not suspect that this case or Tara's disappearance will go unanswered for 36 years.